Hello my dear students. In the continuation of our series for the solution of NEET paper, today we are going to discuss some more questions from your NEET 2022 paper. Okay. Today's first question is the angular speed on a flywheel moving with a uniform acceleration changes from 1200 rpm to 3120 rpm in 16 seconds. By this observation we can see this question is from your rotational motion topic. We have to calculate the values of angular acceleration in radian per second. As we all know, there are three fundamental equations of motion in linear that same are converted in rotational motion. So the values given is omega, initial velocity is 1200, so omega naught is 1200 and omega is 3120. In how much time? 16 seconds. We have to calculate the value of alpha. So the direct relation is omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha delta t. This is actually the similar equation, v is equal to u plus at. This is simpler equation. This is valid for linear motion and this is valid for rotational motion. Solving for alpha we get omega minus omega naught upon t. In question omega is given as 3120, omega naught 1200 times 16 seconds, that is rpm. Now the answer we are getting is in rpm. Now we have to calculate the acceleration in radian per second square. So for this conversion we multiply our result into 2 pi upon 60 radian per second. 2 pi is for radian and 60 is for second. So the required answer is 4 pi radian per second square. That is our option number A. This is a question from NEET 2022. Similar type of question has been asked in NEET 2023 and 2021 with the similar type of equation. We just have to understand the basic equation and convert it into rotational motion. Okay. Moving to the next question. The next question is the two objects of masses 10 kg and 20 kg are connected to two ends of a rigid rod of length 10 meter with a negligible mass. The question says there are two objects, first is 10 kg, other is 20 kg. Now both are connected through a string of length 10 meter. Now the distance of the center of mass from the 10 kg. We have to calculate the distance of center of mass from which position? From 10 kg. So the relation is xcm, center of mass for x coordinate is xcm, that is 20 into 10 upon 20 plus 10. That's why simply mass into distance upon total mass. Okay, mass into distance upon total mass. So the required answer is 20 by 3. That is our option number 3. As we all know, we can calculate the center of mass by simple relation mr. Okay, mr means suppose we have to calculate RCM. RCM is generally formula for center of mass of a two coordinate system. Suppose there are two particles, first is having mass m1 and distance r1, other is mass r2 and distance mass m2 and distance r2 divided by total mass, that is m1 plus m2. This is the formula for center of mass of a two particle system. And if we have to calculate xcm, xcm stands for center of mass for x coordinate. We just replace r1 and r2 by x1 and x2. m1 x1 plus m2 x2 upon m1 plus m2. This is the required formula for center of mass of a x coordinate. Similar formula can be written for center of mass for y coordinate by just replacing x by y. Okay. Moving to the next question. The next question says a spherical ball is dropped in a long column of highly viscous fluid. Liquid. Okay, viscosity is a property related to fluid. As we all know, it is actually the resistance to flow. The curve in the region shows which represent the speed of the ball as a function of time. We are provided with a condition. The condition is a spherical ball is dropped in a long column of high viscous liquid. Okay, suppose we are provided with a column filled with a liquid whose viscosity is high, and in this a ball is dropped. This is the required question. We just have to see which plot matches our conditions. Okay, whether it is A, B, C and D. So the required answer is option number B, because initially the speed will be 0, speed of ball will be 0, then it increases and after some time it becomes constant. Okay, acceleration slope of VT graph of a ball first decreases and then after increase it become 0. So you can see this is the required graph. This graph shows initially it will increase and after certain point it becomes constant. This is the required graph number B, which is the required solution for this type of question. Okay, moving to the next question. The next question is also from rotational motion. The question says the ratio of radius of gyration of a thin uniform disc about an axis passing through its center and normal to its plane of the radius of gyration to the about its diameter. Okay, you have simply learned the different types of condition for moment of inertia. These are two types of condition, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 condition says it is a thin uniform disc in which axis is passing through the center. Okay, this is first condition R, and the second condition says its diameter. Okay, second condition says the axis is through diameter. So the required formula for first is mr square upon 2, and when it passes through diameter it is mr square upon 4. Now we have to calculate the value of which parameter? Radius of gyration. It is given by k is equal to root I upon m. Okay, so now we have to calculate the ratio, so we can simply write k1 upon k2 is equal to under root I1 upon I2. Putting the values of I1 and I2, we get under root 2 is to 1, which is the required option number A. Okay, this question can be simply solved by this application of formula and the conditions. Moving to the next part, the next question is shell of mass small m is at rest initially. It explodes into 3 fragments having mass in the ratio of 2 is to 2 is to 1. Similar type of question have been asked in JEE examination also. The condition is that we are provided with a shell having mass small m. It explodes and it breaks down into 3 fragments, 2 is to 1. The ratio of masses of fragment is this. If the fragment have equal mass fly off along a mutually perpendicular direction with a speed v, the speed of the lighter fragment is. The question can be simply understood by this type of question. Initially we are provided with a shell of mass capital M. It explodes into 3 pieces, 1, 2 and 3. You can see the first and the second piece are mutually perpendicular to each other, and the third one is this. Okay, and the ratio is given as 2 is to 2 is to 1. If the ratio is given, we can simply calculate the mass. The mass of the first will be 2m upon 5. The mass of the second will be 2m upon 5, and the mass of the third is m upon 5. Okay, now this is simply the question related to the conservation of momentum. Momentum before conservation is always equal to momentum after conservation. So momentum before conservation is mass into 0. Why it is 0? Because initially the object is at rest, it has no component of velocity, and momentum after collision is mass into velocity. First component is for x-axis. You can see it is moving in opposite direction of x-axis, that's why we have used minus v I cap. Other component is minus v j cap because it is moving in negative y direction, and for third component we have used m by 5 v. Okay, we just have to solve and calculate the value of velocity. By solving we get 2 root 2 v. That is our required option number 2. This is the speed of the third object which is in lighter mass. How we see lighter mass? First component is 2 by 5, other is 2 by 5, third is m by 5. That's why third component is lighter as compared to first and second. This is simply the application of conservation of linear momentum. Similar type of question can be asked when it is provided with the condition of this type. So we have to compute the angle also, 45 degree and 45 degree. This similar type of question can be asked in your future examination. Moving to the next part, the question is soap bubble expand, the pressure inside the bubble. Okay, this is related to the properties of fluid. If soap bubble expand, the pressure in will be. So the relation is P is equal to P naught plus 4T by R. Okay, if the soap bubble expand, what will happen? Its R increases, and the relation says is if R increases, then its P should be decreased. That is our option number 4. Okay, this is simply the application of formula. Moving to the next part, plane angle and solid angle have. Okay, this is related to our starting chapters of class 11. What is the relation between plane and solid angle? Both have units but no dimension. Plane angle and solid angle are dimensionless but have units. The units for the both plane angle and dimensional angle are different, but they have no dimension, okay, because they are dimensionless quantity, they are represented at constant quantities. Okay, moving to the next part. The question is, when a light propagates through a material medium of relative permittivity ER and relative permeability mu R. As we all know, ER is a constant related to electric field and mu R is a constant related to magnetic field. The velocity of light V is given by the same light propagate through medium. First is having relative permittivity of ER, and other is having relative permittivity of mu R. We just have to calculate the value of this. So the relation is N is equal to ER into mu R. We can see N is equal to C upon V, V is equal to C upon N. So the required answer is option number 3rd. This is simply the application of formula or the relation between these both parameter, permittivity and permeability. Okay, moving to the next part. The next question, an ideal gas undergoes 4 different processes from the same initial state as shown in figure. These processes are adiabatic, isothermal, isobaric and isochoric. As I think you all are aware from these type of terms. The curve which represent the adiabatic process from 1, 2, 3, 4. We are provided with a graph having relation for pressure and volume. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the graph. We have to represent which graph represent adiabatic process. So you can see the first graph is adiabatic. Why it is adiabatic? Because you can see after comparison we can say first is isochoric. First is isochoric. You can say this represent isochoric. Second is adiabatic. Okay. Second is adiabatic. Third is isothermal. Isothermal means same temperature and isobaric means same pressure. So you can see fourth is isobaric, third is isothermal, fourth is isochoric and second is adiabatic. Adiabatic simply means there should be no exchange of heat, and isochoric represent the same volume parameters. Okay, this is the required solution. By just observation of the condition we can predict the answer. Okay, moving to the next part. The displacement time graph of two moving particles making an angle 30 degree and 50 degree with the x-axis. We can see this is the graph which shows the displacement time relation. First having the angular displacement of 30 and other is having angular displacement of 45. What is the ratio of their velocities? As we all know, the relation is given by V is equal to dx upon dt is equal to tan theta. There are two types of question from this type of graphical relations. First is directly solved by having y component upon x component, and other is having angular relations. So in the numerical you can see the angle are provided, so we have to use the formula for tan theta. This says the velocity and tan theta are directly dependent. V1 upon V2 is equal to tan theta 1 upon tan theta 2. Putting the value of tan theta 1 30 degree and tan theta 2 45 degree, we get the answer as 1 upon root 3. This is our option number 3. Okay, this is the required solution for this type of question. Now this is end of the today's class. In the next lecture we will discuss some more questions and some more problems related to your previous year questions of NEET and JEE examination. This is all about today's class. Thank you.